Scott Andrews says that he is running today. He told CBC Newfoundland he is running in the next election. What is your reaction, please, sir?
As I said in my original press conference a few weeks ago, we have suspended the candidacies of the two individuals in question, pending the unfolding of various investigations and discussions over the following weeks. We will make a determination in the future as to whether they will be candidates for us next year. For now, they will not be candidates for us next year.
And the story just keeps evolving. Now an NDP MP has broken her silence, revealing information about those two MPs who have been tossed out of the Liberal caucus. The woman claims to have talked to Justin Trudeau just after the funeral for Corporal Nathan Cirillo. And that's where, according to the Huffington Post, she gave him private details involving her colleague, who she felt was treated unacceptably, and that Mr. Trudeau should know about it. Let's bring in Sara MacIntyre and Ray Hurd to discuss this. And so let me just break down this, because it's a little bit tricky where this story goes. So this NDP MP is one of two women who came forward. Not really came forward, but talked to somebody. So she talks to Justin Trudeau about something she alleges happened to her colleague with MP Scott Andrews. And she spoke to the Huffington Post, where she said that she felt it was so unacceptable and that he wouldn't want someone like that around him. So she felt it was important that she go to Mr. Trudeau. What I find odd is that she is discussing a matter doesn't necessarily involve her, but a friend of hers, and then she later came forward a second time where she said, I also had an incident with this other MP, Mr. Massimo, and she calls it's not a legal term, she called it sex without explicit consent. So I can only take from that is that she had sex with him, she didn't really want to, and had regrets.
Yeah.
I don't know how to break this down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with this whole Jian Ghomeshi affair, Bill Cosby, there's a real kind of confusion about what is inappropriate, what is illegal, and what is harassment. On the Hill, it's not uncommon where there's a lot of drinking involved after, heavy or a long day, or, if you're on a sports team with someone, you go out, you build camaraderie, and sometimes people act in an inappropriate manner. Inappropriate behavior.
Which I think happens in every workplace.
It happens everywhere. Inappropriate behavior or lecherous behavior doesn't necessarily constitute criminal behavior or even harassment behavior. And I think all of these lines have been blurred. And it's a problem when an accuser is basically given confidentiality and the accused has no way to actually even respond. So we're in a very difficult situation, particularly for these two individuals who have been suspended.
Yeah, I admire her for what she said, because here's what she said. I don't want to destroy their reputations, A.
Well.
B, I want them to apologize, and most importantly, I want them to get help. So she disagrees with Justin. Justin is acting as the judge, the jury, the prosecutor, and the executioner.
But
and she is the victim.
Okay.
She is the victim. She has the right
victim
to
of
say.
having. Okay, but here's where I mean, of what? Having regretful
Here's
sex?
what she said. Of having sex without explicit consent.
What does that mean?
What does
I
that
don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But I did ask a lawyer, and he said there she could be discussing a very gray area. He said, I said, he said, I said.
Or she didn't say anything, and she just simply woke up with regret.
But the fact is, she has sympathy and empathy for the person who allegedly did it, and I admire her for having the guts to say that.
Okay, I'm not going to say either women here, although we haven't heard from the one who I think has maybe the bigger of the complaints. Now, both MPs categorically deny any of the allegations. I want to be clear on that. But here's where the problem is. Mr. Trudeau hasn't spoken to the initial MP who apparently had some kind of altercation with Mr. Andrews. And so he made a decision to turf these two MPs out of caucus without actually having a full meeting with both of the complainants. And so where do you think this goes as far as the gray area? Because it's their word against these two men, and no official complaint has been filed.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. There's actually no formal process in the House of Commons for such allegations.
But should Mr. Trudeau not have spoken to both of these women?
I've had
It's
conflicting reports,
hearsay.
though. I've had conflicting reports where he has been on the record, Justin Trudeau, saying that a third-party investigation could go forward because I have spoken at length with both of the NDP members and taken notes. So,
As I understand,
I
heard notes from one, but
Yeah.
the key thing is this: Justin is going to appoint
Yeah.
a female judge, which I think is sexist. It should be the best, or kind of an adjudicator. But he wants to appoint someone himself to do that, and he has no legal authority to do that. And if I were
Well, but it's
these
the
two
optics.
MPs,
It's being done
and
for optics.
don't forget, Sarah would appreciate this probably more than most people because she was a spokesperson for a prime minister. Here's what we must remember. Justin Trudeau politicized this issue by not consulting Thomas Mulcair before he acted. So, if you were a Tory or an NDP, you'd say, well, these are two Liberal seats. One of the Liberal candidates is going to run again in that seat regardless of what happens. So the result is two Liberal seats could be up for play in the next election, which could be a very close election.
I have to wholeheartedly disagree with you,
Yeah.
Ray, because I don't think Justin Trudeau, in the light and in the air of the Jiango Meshi headlines, had really any other choice except to suspend those particular members. And I don't think that this member that made the initial accusation in a casual conversation with Justin Trudeau on a bus heading back from a very emotional event is courageous whatsoever. She's coming out now saying that she didn't want to destroy their reputations. They've been suspended. It's been an air of cloud over both of these gentlemen for the past couple of weeks without any details.
yeah, and to be honest, I think what makes me uncomfortable is that she spoke on behalf of someone else. I think at this point now you have to hear from this other woman.
Yes.
Because I don't know how these two men can get...
I still think that I made a good point days ago here.
Yeah.
Justin's big error was the leader of the Liberal Party, knowing that this was floating around, should have requested a meeting with the leader of
Sure.
the NDP, and then they should have jointly decided on an approach that A, would not victimize and hurt the two women who are the victims in this case, and
We
did
don't know
not
if
We
they're
don't know if the
victims, Ray. We
victims
really
though.
don't
know.
That-
Victims.
Look, as a woman, I'm the first
Yeah.
to take the back of a woman. I mean, but we don't know. I mean, how can you be a victim of sex that you might have had regrets? It's a lot different than sexual assault. I don't know
Well,
if you
she
can.
said she suffered a lot of pain.
Okay, sure.
She told the Huffington Post she suffered a lot of pain. She couldn't even sit down. So that must have been pretty serious.
Okay,
Well, you know what? We don't know, and
that's the problem. Is that we're having a conversation
No,
about
we
unknowns.
don't know, but we know what she said and we know what Justin said, and we, the public, are sort of the jury here, but we have to have a process, as you've said. There is no process to get to the bottom of these things, and Justin's way of wanting to appoint his own adjudicator is like the CBC appointing its own
I honestly
adjudicator
think-
into the Gameshi
I don't think
affair.
that he has much other choice. I mean, it's not in the interest of any MPs, whether being the accused or the alleger, to actually be moving forward and having your colleagues investigate this. You want a third party to be doing this, so you have trust in the confidentiality and in the
I agree with you totally, but that person would be appointed by Justin Trudeau. That's what I'm opposed to. He is appointing the judge. It should be done impartially by both parties in a manner of consensus rather than confrontation.
Either way, we haven't heard the last of it. Interesting developments happening.
And I
All
must
right.
say, Sarah, Justin, I'm sure, will appreciate your equal-minded treatment of him, because he's not exactly the favourite of a lot of Sun people. So congratulations for your courage.
yeah.